Okay, there we go. All right. So again, for those of you just joining us, welcome to our wonderful tour launch. We did already a launch earlier this year, and we did that because we just couldn't get everything done. And also, a lot of times hotels will not give us bids so far in advance. So this is our opportunity to come together with you guys and give you the overall for the whole year. So we have a bunch of really fun stuff. So before we get started with that, I just mentioned for the Patreon people who are on this call, Patreon Substack, you always, if you are a Patreon subscriber or a paid Substack member, you always get a big chunky discount. So all these folks on this call today, which is Sunday, are getting a $300 discount. So if you're not a member and you want to do that in the future, just keep that in mind for future launches. But that's just going to be expired by the time this video airs for all the rest of you. So here's what we're going to do. First of all, I just want to go over some of the kind of terms and conditions. So all of our tours have the same thing. It's a $600 discount, or sorry, not discount, $600 deposit, which is a non-refundable deposit to secure your spot for your tour for next year. The final balance is due 60 days in advance, but we will bill you 90 days in advance. If for some reason you need to change things, that's okay. We do have a policy that we let you guys move a tour, but you have to do it more than 90 days in advance, because if you do it at 90 days, we've already paid for your slot. So that kind of messes everything up for us. So if you do need to transfer, you can move to another calendar year tour if you have to do that at some point. One other thing, I do know it is a very weird moment to be, unfortunately, our tour date is corresponding with some unrest in the world. And I know people might be nervous about putting money down on a tour. So just something to note about Washington state law, where our business is located, we have to hold your $600 deposit in a safe box, and we can't spend it until it's a go for the tour. So let's just say something happens in the tour that you have booked, Americans can't go to that destination for some reason, we have to cancel the tour, you always get that deposit back. If we are forced to cancel a tour, you always get your deposit back, because that's just the law. Okay, so just so you feel a little more safe about putting money down on a tour. Also, just to note another terms and conditions item, our tours are a minimum of 6 people. If it's less than 6 people, we will let you know at least 90 days, not more, in advance if that tour is not viable. Now, that's the official policy, but on the flip side, we have been able to work our magic to accommodate groups that have been less than 6, because we don't want anybody to ever be disappointed. So we do our best to make sure that everybody gets to go on the trip that they have booked. So, but in case, let's say you're the only person that books a tour and we're obviously not going to be able to run it, we will cancel it and either give you your money back or move you to a different tour. So that's hopefully we won't have that problem. Hopefully everything's going to book out and it's going to be a lot of fun. One last thing before we get going on the offerings, I just want to prepare you for a little sticker shock, and it's not huge sticker shock. It's just, I don't know if you've noticed, but the euro versus dollar rate is pretty ugly. The euro has gained about 15% over the dollar. So that is obviously a cost we've had to put through to our European-based tours. So they are going to be, that will be reflected in the cost. Our non-European tours are still great value. So if you're looking at Southeast Asia, for example, that's still a pretty good deal. Apparently, Egypt has stayed solid, so the same cost this year. So interesting kind of differences, but we have had to review some of the currency issues with the euro in particular, because it was, I think last year around this time, like $1.04, and now it's like, what is it, Andrew, now? Like $1.15 or something like that, right?
Yeah, 115.
Yeah.
Or
so,
well, I haven't looked today since the news, so yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, so this is just the situation, is that we have had to bump it up. We also have a really big dream destination on the schedule this year that you have all asked for, and we did our very best to maintain our typical standard of tours. It's just a very expensive destination, and the price is going to be a little surprising because it is a lot, but it is, every supplier we looked at kind of had a similar price. So we did the best we could to get a reasonable price. It is a little bit outside of our typical range, and you'll see that when we get to that one, but it's going to be worth it because it's a pretty cool thing that we've put together for you guys. Okay, so that's just sort of a few expectations to set your expectations the right way. We always have very good value tours. There's a couple of tours in particular I'll point out that are incredibly well priced and a good value for you if you are looking for something a little bit more budget range. Okay, so without further ado, let me share my screen with you. All right. So if you go to the link that's been posted there, you're going to see the early release. And I have already, I'll go back here because I already started with the one I wanted to start with first. Okay, so here we are. So this is adventureswithsarah.net/early access tours. So that if you want to follow along, that link is in the chat. I'm also going to send this out through Substack and Patreon. So if you can't figure out how to copy and paste that into your own browser, don't worry, we're going to get that to you in other ways as well. So what I want to do is I want to scroll back down a little bit because we have 2 tours that should have been in the spring release, but they didn't make it because we couldn't quite get them done. And this is the one that we are most excited about so far. We just finished this one and I cannot wait. This is our Holland Spring Fling in May of 2026. Now, I know a lot of people have been really interested in going to the Netherlands with me. You may know that my partner is from the Netherlands, so I've been spending an awful lot of time there, and we're super excited to have put together an itinerary using a lot of the stuff that we have learned throughout our time. Hold on a second, I'll let somebody in. I've been really interested in letting people kind of get to know the Netherlands the way I've gotten to know it, which is really as a local practically. So it's been really fun. So what we decided to do was have a focus on the Keukenhof, which I know everybody wants to go for the tulips, but also to take you to some of the things that I really think show the best of Holland. So this is what we're going to be doing here, May 3rd through 9th. That's a really cool time to be going because that's right before what's actually right in a span of holidays. And one of the holidays is King's Day. So if you decide to come in early, you can be there for the biggest party of the year. And that's a party where everybody wears orange, and you've seen pictures of this with people in the canals, and it's crazy. We're not there on the day of King's Day for a reason, because some people don't want to do that. So that's going to be way too much for some people. But I put it really adjacent to King's Day so that if you do wish to come, you can fly into Amsterdam a few days early, and you can have that experience. So that's a really festive time to be in Holland. So just to let you know a little bit about how the tour works, we're actually staying in Utrecht rather than Amsterdam, because I think Amsterdam's a little overwhelming for a week and it's very busy. It's also really hard to get a coach in and out of. And this is going to be kind of a hub and spoke tour where we are doing a staycation, but we're going to have a coach on most days to explore the country more. So the first day we're going to start off by wandering around Utrecht and then having a rijsttafel dinner, which is the Indonesian specialties. So you get like 20 dishes on your table. It's really a lot of fun. The next day, we're going to head into Amsterdam. And I did a really cool trip with the Amsterdam Tourism Board last year, where they took us to some really unusual sites. And the one that I loved the most was the Rembrandt's house. So it's a fully restored house that looks like Rembrandt walked out the door and never came back. And they have people in costumes. They give you a tour of the house. And then they have workshops, and they teach you how to mix paints in the traditional way as Rembrandt might have done. So we're going to do some kind of workshop with them. And then after that, we will take a walk to the Rijksmuseum to see Rembrandt's paintings. However, along the way, we're going to do what the Dutch would do, and that is to eat some really greasy food. So we're going to do a street food tour from Rembrandt's house to the Rijksmuseum. We're going to eat from the wall, which is where you have the wall with all the really greasy things, and we're going to have to pick out some things for you to try. We're going to stop for frites. We're going to stop for herring. You don't have to eat all of it, but there will be prizes for those of you that eat the herring. And then once we're done with that, we'll arrive at the Rijksmuseum, and you will have a tour of the Rijksmuseum. I have a few more things I want to do after that, but I don't want to ruin the surprise because we'll kind of have to wait and see. But that's the outline of the day. And then after that, you're going to be going on a boat. You're going to get onto a canal boat, and we're going to have a private one, which will be a lot of fun. And we'll have a good time wandering around the canals and getting a tour of Amsterdam before we go back for the evening. So that's day 2. Day 3, we're going to head off to Apeldoorn, which is the royal palace of the Dutch family, royal Dutch family. And they actually still live there part-time. And then Arnhem, which is the folk park you may have heard of. It's super fun. And you get to go to the folk park and check out working windmills. And they have interesting Dutch food. So that'll be a really lovely day. Next day, we will have a bus to take us through all kinds of different things, starting with the Keukenhof Gardens and seeing them at the height of their blooms. Early May is the best time of the year to do that, so we should have a really nice variety. And then after that, we're going to go to a tulip farm, and they're going to show us how they breed tulips, which I think should be really something very interesting. And you'll actually get to walk in tulip fields, kind of like the photo you're seeing right there. And then at the end of the day, we'll head to Delft, and we will get to know their pottery. Next day, we are going to go to the Alkmaar Cheese Market, which is a thing that my boyfriend's been talking about for a long time. It's the Alkmaar Cheese Market is famous for people being, they kind of go out in costumes, and they have these big cheese wheels that they roll out into the streets. So it's kind of a fun thing that I've been wanting to do for a while. You can see a picture of it there. Then we'll head to Zandschaans. Another person I met at one of these really cool conferences we do. They actually will make wooden shoes for you there. So it's a little cheesy, but it's really fun. And they've taken windmills from all over Holland and put them in a really scenic spot on a river. So we'll get to see, like, it's like a windmill park, basically. And then at the end of the day, we have a quick visit to Volendam, where they dress in traditional costume. It's a really historical town. And then Edam, where you can sample more cheese because, you know, it's cheesy. After that, we're going to have day 6, and that's going to be a day focused on Utrecht. And that is a day we're going to go and tour the city. And then I thought, since you've learned so much about art and there's so many flowers, that we'll have a little canal side watercolor lesson. And that'll be a lot of fun. And then in the evening, we'll have a cocktail hour and dinner to celebrate our adventure. So that is going to be a lot of fun. And that's the basic itinerary. There are going to be some other things that'll be fun that I don't want to spoil the surprise. So that one, I just want to let you know, Holland, we already have about half full. It's already half booked at this point. So if that interests you, I would probably book before we do the tour release to everybody else, because that's almost full. The other one that's halfway booked is one that we just put out to our waitlist yesterday. That's Aeolian Islands. Now, Aeolian Islands are the chain of islands off of the coast of Sicily. What we're doing for next year, I'm going to be leading our Classic Sicily Highlights Tour. So if you haven't done that yet, you could do that with me. And then we're going to meet in Taormina. Whoever is going on to the Aeolian Islands Tour or continuing from the Highlights Tour will meet in Taormina. We'll be whisked away on a coach, and we're going to take a ferry over to the Aeolian Islands. It's this time of year. So it's actually would start a year ago a year from now today, June 22nd of next year. So you'll be celebrating my birthday if you want. We'll have a nice little swim and have a celebration. So that starts on June 22nd. This is a very, very good deal for what it is. The pricing came in really, really well. So I'm excited about that it's a very affordable tour. We're going to have it be sort of like a staycation. You're going to be staying in Lipari, which is one of the biggest islands of the chain. And this is a volcanic chain that goes off the coast. And you may well know the most active volcano in Europe is Stromboli, which is one of these islands. So we also are going to visit Vulcano, which has an active mud pit as part of the volcanic chain as well. So first day, we're just going to get to Lipari, get oriented and have some seafood for dinner. Day 2, we're going to get on a boat. And basically every day we're going to have a private boat to take us to see different islands. So we're going to go to Vulcano on the very first day. They have a beautiful black sand beach. They also have these mud pots where you can take mud baths. So it's a really interesting island, very primordial feeling. So that's our first day, is focusing on Vulcano. Second day, third full day, is going to be Lipari, and we're going to start in Lipari, but we're going to go to Panarea and Stromboli. So Panarea looks a lot like Greece. It's very beautiful. So we'll start there. And then in the evening, we'll get onto our boat, and then we'll sit kind of off the coast of Stromboli. And usually what we do on these boats is they prepare like a cocktail or dinner, and we just sit there and we watch you really do watch the volcano explode. And you have to do it at night, because even if it explodes during the day, you can't see it. It has to be dark to be able to see the explosion. So that's day 3. Day 4, we're going to go to Filicudi and Alicudi. These are the most desolate of the islands. They are a little bit more remote. And so we really get to see kind of a really countryside, kind of more rustic side of the Aeolian Islands. So we'll have a nice visit there, and we'll stop in the villages and have time to explore the islands a little bit. Each of these days, I would recommend you wear a swimsuit, because if you're a swimmer, you can jump off the boat, you can swim in the sea, and the water there is so beautiful. I mean, I remember one of the days, I think we were off the coast of Panarea. I went on a family vacation there, and we jumped off the boat in this fissure that they call like the Champagne fissure, and you swim in bubbles. So if you've ever had the fantasy of swimming in a bottle of champagne, this is the closest you'll ever get, is when you have a chance to swim on one of these days. So if you're not a swimmer, this tour is still going to be a lot of fun because you don't have to get in the water and swim if you don't want to. Next day is Salina. Salina is one of the most beautiful islands in Italy. We'll go and we'll just explore the island on foot as well as sailing around, and you'll get some free time to have a look at the little village there. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll have some like a food experience there as well, and drink some of the wines from the Aeolian Islands. And then day 6 is going to be staying on Lipari and exploring the island of Lipari, which is the larger one. The movie Il Postino, if you remember that one from a long time ago, was filmed here. And so we'll be able to kind of get some beautiful views you might have seen in that movie. And then in the evening, we will go and celebrate the end of our tour. So that's how that works. It's a week, like a lot of our other tours. And if you combine that with the Sicily Highlights tour, that would be a little bit over 2 weeks. So that, I think, would be a really fun way to celebrate summer and enjoy summer. And also we'll celebrate my birthday along the way. So exactly 1 year from now is Aeolian Islands. So those are the 2 that we did already have on the schedule previously. And so you've heard about those before. Let's dive into the new stuff. So let's see, where should we start? Naples and Amalfi Coast, that is not new, but it's going to be a slightly improved version. This is our friend Lisa Anderson leads this. It's a wonderful tour, and it basically is going to dive into Neapolitan history. It'll see the city, but then I don't think people realize that outside of Naples, there's so much to see. You could be there for weeks. There's so many things to see. So you're going to be seeing not only the center of Naples, but also the Campi Flegrei, which is volcanic activity there. It's one of the largest supervolcanoes in the world. You'll also see the underground of Naples, which is, I think, something people don't know about. And then you'll go to Caserta, which is the Versailles of Italy, where the Bourbon family built a very similar palace to the one in Versailles. And then down to Sorrento for the Amalfi Coast portion, where you'll see Pompeii, you'll see Herculaneum. There's also a wonderful day out on a boat. There's also going to be a cooking class. So this is kind of like your Naples and southern Italy kind of dream, if you've ever dreamed of being able to see all of these things. So the very last day, you're going to go out on a boat and go swimming, and there's going to be a seafood lunch along the shore as well. So that's the plan. That's a 9 days, 8 nights, and that's going to be in October. And October is a great month to be in Italy all together, but also for swimming and sunshine. October is really, I think, the perfect month for that. So Andrew, I'm going to let you take it away here for the Veneto and Slovenia tour, which is our classic, right?
It's our classic. It was the first thing we ever did together. So it's pretty much the same as it is this year, and it has been for a while. We've got a couple days around Veneto. We got Bassano del Grappa, which is uber cute and has some great grappa tasting. A lot of little towns that you probably don't know of, except maybe you've heard of, like San Daniele ham, and we go there to taste their famous ham. We've got some nice wine experiences in Slovenia. We even pop into Croatia just for like a half a day to have some goat cheese. We go to the classic things in Slovenia, like the caves, the Predjama Castle, Lake Bled. We visit beekeepers and meet with people making schnapps and things like that. We've got three days in Ljubljana, which is a uber cute town. So yeah, this is kind of our classic Veneto Slovenia tour that we've always done. So I'll be leading that one as I normally do.
So this tour is really, really fun if you've never done it. And I know for a lot of people, they think Veneto and Slovenia, why would I do that? I've never heard of that, but that's the point. You haven't. So it's one of these things where we're taking you. I love when people say to me, I love traveling with you because you take me places I didn't know I wanted to go. And this is kind of the tour that started that concept of taking you places you didn't even know you wanted to go. So if you haven't been on this one, this is absolutely one of our favorites of all of our guests. And it was the very first one we started, but bring stretchy pants. Because Andrew, when he feeds you, he does not hold back. Also, electrolytes, because I have a feeling you're going to be drinking a little bit of wine, right, Andrew?
Yeah, just a little bit, every day, every meal, something like that.
Yeah, so we don't hold back on the wine, that is for sure. Okay, and then another one. This is a new one for you, Andrew, Slovenia and Croatia Harvest Tour.
Oh no, we just did a little rebrand on the name. It's the Harvest Tour, but we do have 3 days in Croatia, so we want to put it in there like, hey, it's not just Slovenia, mostly Slovenia. And we improved it. We're doing the new version this year, and we'll be doing the same version again next year. We've got a little bit more time in some cities like Trieste, which is home of basically espresso of Ely. Coffee there. We've got some time in Cividale, which is a place that Sarah and I found way back when we were doing research for Veneto, Slovenia. So we have a little bit more time in some cities, but don't worry, you'll still be well fed. That is like extra stretchy pants tour. We've got two dinners with winemakers like at their home. We meet people who make pumpkin seed oil and olive oil. We've got one little place in the middle of nowhere, Croatia, that they make this beautiful roast duck and serve it with Pinot Noir and sparkling wines. So, yeah, if you like to eat, like, you won't go hungry.
Yeah, and like many of our food and wine tours, the wine is included. We definitely treat you very well, and the hotels on this one are really nice as well, aren't they?
Yeah, we've kind of got like almost glamping. It's like hotels built into a forest the first 3 nights of the tour, and everyone has their own private jacuzzi outside, so that doesn't suck too badly.
No, that doesn't.
And
that one
no,
too.
it doesn't. So yeah, we've got a farmhouse, so people get the agriturismo experience. If you like that in Italy, it's a place where pretty much all the food they serve you is made by them on their farm. So yeah, and we've got a couple of small boutique hotels. So it's really nice. We don't have like really long travel days. But like, as I said, we added a little bit more kind of time in some cities, so you can kind of walk off some of what you eat during the tour.
Yeah, I think that was a little change we made because people were needing exercise. So that's good.
Yes.
All right, so we already did Holland. So Egypt, October 2026. This is just our classic Egypt tour. Hoda will be back again as per usual to do Egypt, and every year we have 2 departures a year so far, and they do fill up. So if you wanted to do Egypt, I think we've got it down. Honestly, I can't imagine what we could do that would be better. And Hoda is just such a jewel. So it's kind of our regular itinerary. I don't think we've really changed much of anything. Super nice hotels. We actually upgraded our Nile River cruise. We stay at a really, really nice cruise. We've elevated all of the hotels. So it's really a nice thing. And I know our Egypt tour is kind of a little bit on the higher price of Egypt tours, and that's because you don't want to scrimp in Egypt. Egypt can be kind of stressful because it's so different, and it's just really busy and really noisy, and there's just a lot going on. Having a really nice hotel to retreat to, I think, is absolutely, for your sanity and peace of mind, the way to go. So also, Egypt is really notorious for a place where you have to be tipping every single person who approaches you. And this is another bonus for traveling with us, and I don't think we talk about it enough. Or 0 tips expected of you as a guest. So we actually never, ever take, we don't expect tips at all. Hoda is fully paid her tip, and all of the guides that you're going to meet, or people that you work with, hotel owners, all that kind of stuff, everybody's tipped by us. So that's an all-in price. And the other thing about the Egypt tour that makes it, I think, a really good value is that there is basically almost no meals that you pay for on your own. Almost every meal is included because the boat, for example, has meals on the boat. So almost every meal is provided. Part of that is also just because it's logistically more sensible to feed you guys most of the time. So this is a really great value from the perspective of you almost will spend no money. Unless you'd like to buy a $16 knockoff Rolex like I did down a back alley in Luxor. So you can bring your $16 for your, yeah, Nico and I bought that for my boyfriend, and it's the funniest thing we've ever bought. So, you know, something to look forward to. So Egypt needs no sales pitch. You guys know it's a great tour. All right, so here's one I'm very excited about, guys, which is Indonesia. Now, you know, I just did Indonesia, and we did it in May, which was supposed to be dry season. Turns out it's not really true. So we decided to move it to the end of August, which is apparently actual dry season. And that's important just because when it rains, it really rains in Indonesia. I love this destination. I cannot tell you enough about how much I loved Indonesia. It is so beautiful. It is so dramatic. And it is so, I don't know, it's got a very interesting vibe of a cross between Polynesia, so Hawaii, and Asia, kind of like Thailand. If Thailand and Hawaii had a baby, it would be Indonesia. But wait, there's more. They also have Dutch history. So it is one of the tidiest Asian countries in Southeast Asia that I've been to. Southeast Asia can be a lot of things, but tidy is not always one of them. But here in Indonesia, very tidy, very good food, extremely good value. It was just a great tour. I'm really happy. We made some adjustments to it for next year, so same number of days, and we actually are very fortunate because Abe the Babe, who is our local guide there, or Batik Abe, because he always has a different costume on every day, he has agreed to come and guide us again next year, and he and I worked on kind of upgrading the tour just a little bit. This is a very good value, by the way, for the things that are included. So 12 days at that price, that's a really good price for 12 days. The flight there is long, but there are some really great options from Seattle. You can go by way of Taipei, and I think it was 17 hours total to get to Jakarta. So it's not as bad as it sounds. You just have to kind of shop around for the ticket to get to Jakarta. So it's going to be the same idea, 2 days in Jakarta, which is an absolutely fantastic city. I didn't think I would love it as much as I did. It's not as crazy busy as you expect. And we stayed at a fancy hotel the night before the tour started for like $170. So very affordable destination in a lot of ways. But they have a wonderful kind of character of Jakarta, and it's not at all as intimidating as you might think, even though it's a very busy place. Then we take the train, in the most beautiful, picturesque train through the fields of Java. So these terraced fields and kind of jungle, absolutely gorgeous train ride. The train was beautiful. I mean, I have not seen a train that nice, even in Europe. And we bring a packed lunch, but it's like a box, and you have all these different little dishes. Absolutely beautiful kind of bento style lunch we had along the way. And we arrived in Yogyakarta. That's the second largest city on Java. And from there, we got to really enjoy the temples there. They have some really beautiful historic temples. We went to a traditional dance performance. So Yogyakarta is just really fun. We also did a batik making workshop that was really cool. I want to go back and spend a month because they do a 2-month like internship sort of batik class. So once my kids are graduated from college, that might be on my list of selfish artsy things I'm going to do when I don't have kids to pay for every day. But man, I just loved Yogyakarta. It's really fun. We all went and bought batik shirts, which was really fun. And we also got to really just kind of get to know the local culture there. We took like these cyclo things, they're kind of buggies that people ride, and we took them around Yogyakarta as well. That was really fun. From Yogyakarta, we fly to Bali. Bali is, of course, the highlight of this tour. Java is Muslim. Bali is Hindu. So they're very, very different culturally. And Bali is almost its own independent place. So we stay 3 nights in Ubud, which is kind of a really popular place for people to base themselves. There's wonderful marketplaces there. But then we get out into nature. We went up into a village and visited with a village. We had the most hysterical dinner with a prince, because they actually still have all of these different little kings that live on Bali. Bali is divided into little kingdoms. And we got to be good friends with a prince there who I can't wait to see again. He's a really nice guy. So really, Bali is just really enchanting. I mean, everything you've heard about it is true. It's an enchanting destination. So 3 nights in Ubud. And then moving on, we've actually changed the itinerary. I felt like this tour was missing like a beach component because the water around Bali is not really great for swimming. The place you want to go is Lombok, which is another island. And I thought adding a third island to our Indonesia itinerary would actually really make it more of an Indonesia tour, not just a Java and Bali tour. So this is Lombok. We're going to fly to Lombok, or no, I'm sorry, not fly. We're going to take the ferry to Lombok from Bali, and we're going to stay on the Gili Islands. Now, if you Google the Gili Islands, you're going to be absolutely blown away because the photos you're seeing, that's really how it looks. White sand beaches, absolutely turquoise water. It's so beautiful there. So we're going to stay on these little tiny islands for a couple of nights, and then we're going to go out and do a sailing and snorkeling adventure while we're there. I mean, these colors are not, they're the color you're going to see. So beautiful, beautiful beach opportunity. We'll have a couple of days of vacation from your vacation on the Gili Islands. And then we're going to head back and finish in Nusa Dua. And the reason I wanted to do that, that's where all of the big resorts are for, like the St. Regis is there and the Marriott is there. We stayed a couple nights at the Marriott there. Wonderful place to finish because you can stay on a little longer if you just want to have some time to chill out before you go home. And from Nusa Dua back to the Bali airport is about a 30-minute drive. And then that flight back to Seattle, 17 hours by way of Taipei from Bali. So easy peasy. And oh my goodness, I can't tell you how much I loved it. The food was amazing. So please put Indonesia on your to-do list. It is really, really worthwhile. And there's so much to see. But wait, there's more. Because as we were there, we were discussing different things. So Borneo is a future option that we could do in Indonesia. Sumatra is another island that is possible to do where you can go and you can see orangutans. But the thing that interested me the most was Komodo, Flores Island, to see the Komodo dragons. So if you take this tour, you're going to have the option to add on to that an extension to see the Komodo Islands, which is a different tour, but you can book that next to it. So it's an extra 3 days that's going to take you to Flores Island, which is very remote, and you'll see a lot of really beautiful tropical foliage. And then we're going to spend one night on a sailing boat because you have to sail out to see the Komodo dragons, and we'll get off on an island and we'll actually get to see them in the wild. I think this is like a once in a lifetime adventure. I hope that excites you. I'm so excited myself. I can't wait. So I think we have some really neat stuff if you're interested in doing Indonesia. It starts end of August and goes into the early September. I think it's done around September 8th or so, which is the perfect time to be in Indonesia because it'll be hot, but it'll be dry, which is better than when we got completely drenched. So, and the heat wasn't as bad as Thailand. So it's not too bad at all. So I really encourage you to think about that if that interests you. But the big drum roll comes up because here's the one you guys have been waiting for. Now, this is the one that you have asked me for the past, I don't know, since the day I started this business. When are you going to Australia? So we finally did it. We finally put Australia together, Australia and New Zealand. These are going to be back-to-back connecting tours. And we looked at so many different itineraries and talked to so many different people to try to put together something that would give you enough of a flavor of each. But you also have the opportunity to arrive early and stay late if you wish. Australia is kind of a hard destination to wrap your arms around because it's huge. The reason the price is a little bit of a sticker shock item is because we have to include all flights. You cannot take coaches between destinations. You have to fly because Australia is just so big. But I hope this is going to achieve all of your travel dreams. Every time you've thought about Australia, hopefully this is going to meet your expectations. So October 29th through November 6th of 2026, I will be leading this tour along with a local guide. What are we doing? Yep, see, there's that sticker shock right there. So it's $8,000 a person, which I know is a lot. This might be a really good place for those of you singles who would like to go. We can help pair you up with another single in our Solo Female Travel Facebook group. So something to think about. But this is going to be quite the adventure. So what are we doing? Day one, Sydney. We're going to meet in Sydney and we're going to have our dinner together and a cruise around Sydney Harbor. Day two, we're going to go to the Rocks District where we're going to see some beautiful kind of colonial, not colonial style, but 19th century style buildings. And then we're going to go down to Sydney Harbor and see the Opera House, which of course is one of the most famous buildings in the world. You'll also get out to Bondi's Beach and Macquarie's Chair, which apparently are very beautiful locations that are on everybody's lists. The next day, we're going to drive out to the Blue Mountains, which have really beautiful rock formations, and you're going to get to see kind of a wild face of Australia, but within driving distance of Sydney. And we're going to take a scenic railway and cableway ride. So you get to see an actual rainforest in Australia. The next day, we're going to go to the place you have been dreaming of, Uluru, or Ayers Rock. We're going to have to fly up there because it's kind of a long ways. And then we're going to do a national park tour and stay in the national park. So this is kind of another place that the expense comes from because it's quite expensive to stay up there at the ranch that they have up there. But it's going to be a really amazing experience to go and see that at sunset. So I really cannot wait for that. It's going to be wonderful. Next day, we're going to get up and then we're going to watch the sunrise over Uluru. And then we're going to the mystical domes of Kata. I'm going to butcher this, Tiuta. We're going to visit the Aboriginal people who live in that area. And then in the evening, we're going to have a special dinner called the Sounds of Silence dinner, which is a big deal that they have at this ranch. And it's supposed to be just an absolutely magical evening. I've heard only wonderful things about it. And then you'll also get to see the stars because this is a dark zone in the world. And so you'll get to see with a telescope the stars at night. And I think it'll be something very, very special. Next day, we're going to fly to Cairns. So again, lots of flights included in this. And that's the tropical part of Australia, which is close to Indonesia. We're going to check into our hotel and then have time to just relax and see a little bit of Cairns. The next day, you're going to do the thing that's on everybody's list. We're going to go and see the Great Barrier Reef. Those of you that have snorkeled with me in Thailand, this is your opportunity to do the best of the best. We've seen pretty much the best, but this is the actual best of the best. And you're going to get to snorkel in one of the most beautiful places and unique places in the world. I think a lot of people know that it's an endangered area. So we've tried to assemble this in a really sensitive way, but you know, go while you can, because I'm not sure this is going to be a thing people will be able to do forever. So I'm really, really excited to offer this because I can't wait myself. Day 8, our final full day, we're going to go to the Skyrail Forest Cableway, and we're going to get up above that rainforest canopy, and we'll get to see a lot of the wildlife that you've heard about in Australia. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun to be able to see animals that you've always heard of your whole life. And then our farewell dinner is a candlelight dinner under the rainforest canopy with a banquet that's going to have a cultural experience with traditional storytelling. And we're going to learn how to throw boomerangs, as one does. So I think if you don't feel like this is a magical experience, I don't know what else to tell you. We've tried to put in everything that you could possibly want out of Australia into this really nice, tight itinerary. It's a total of 9 days and 8 nights, so that you can stay longer. You can arrive early and you can go to Melbourne or other parts of Australia. And if there's enough interest, we could even look into arranging something like that. But this, we felt like, was the essence of what you might want to see in Australia. So there you go. That's the big one. That's the one everybody was really hoping for. When you're done with that, you're going to continue on, if you wish, to our New Zealand tour, because we figured if you're going to fly down there, you should probably do both. So let's go to New Zealand. It's in November. And again, this is a sticker shock one because the exchange rate is not great. And New Zealand is just quite an expensive destination. So this is November 6 to 16, so $9,500 a person. And this is, again, a really difficult itinerary to think through because there are 2 islands, right? You got to make some choices. So we did the best at making choices that we felt gave people everything that they would be hoping to see in New Zealand. And then you have the option to stay on a little longer if there's something else you want to see. So we're going to start in Auckland and have our welcome dinner with a harbor view. Day 2, we're going to head on the ferry to Waiheke Island, which is off the Auckland coast, and we're going to see vineyards and olive groves and all kinds of beautiful landscape, and we're going to have an opportunity to sample their famous wines. So they call it the Wine Island. I think Andrew's probably jealous already. So you're going to then from there go to a fragrance workshop where you can create your own personalized perfume, and then have a 3-course lunch at the highest vineyard on the island with beautiful views of the city. And then you'll be back in Auckland in the evening. The next day, we're going to go to Rotorua, which is along the Waikato River. And we're going to enjoy a guided tour of the landscapes of Hamilton Gardens, which is a big garden inspired by different worldwide landscapes. Afterward, we're going to go across the bush to Rotorua in the heart of New Zealand, and we're going to just really enjoy kind of the natural landscape. And then we'll go to kind of like a park. It's an eco park with suspension bridges and platforms, so you can really get an interesting view of the forest from up there. Next day, you're going to do a cultural wellness journey, which I know sounds really cheesy, but apparently they have sort of a lot of hot springs and things like that. So we're going to do a therapeutic journey of hot and cold experiences at a spa. And then we're going to visit the Tamaki Maori village, and we'll have a Maori experience. And they'll make a feast to kind of go with their lunar calendar, and they'll teach us about songs and tradition of the Maori people. So that's one of my favorites. We looked through all of these different options, and this just looked like a really beautiful experience. Next days, we're going to fly to Queenstown on the South Island, and you're going to get a completely different picture of New Zealand, because New Zealand is such a diverse place, and we'll be on a beautiful lake, checked into our hotel, and just enjoy the lake for the evening. The next day, we're going to go to the Fiordland National Park, which is probably the scenery that you've seen on Milford Sound. So we're going to go out on Milford Sound and get a view of all of those kind of tropical fjords that they have there. We'll have a picnic lunch on board, and then we'll head back to Queenstown. Day 7, we're going to do a private bus tour of Queenstown and the villages that are kind of on the outskirts. And this is, again, another wine stop. So we'll get to have a delicious barbecue dinner, and we're going to get to try some of the wines from the area, and we'll visit a working farm as well. So that should be a really fun day exploring more of the South Island. Day 8, we're going to go to the central Otago area, and then through the terrain of Lindis Pass, and then to Lake Pukaki. And I know I'm saying all these things wrong. I really apologize, but I'm doing my best here. And this is going to be another really beautiful landscape day. So if you see the pictures there, I mean, you've all seen Lord of the Rings, right? This is where this was filmed. So you're going to see some really, really interesting scenery, very majestic scenery. And then we'll check into our hotel and have dinner, and then another opportunity to do some stargazing in the evening. Then we're going to head out to Christchurch the next day, and we'll do some sightseeing along the way to Christchurch. And then day 10, we're going to have a cooking class where you're going to learn how to cook some of the traditional dishes of New Zealand using a lot of their really excellent local ingredients. So they're going to do like a master chef kind of like cooking competition, which should be really fun. And then you'll have the afternoon free. And then you're going to have a final dinner together. And we're going to have a colonial style tram where we sit on the tram and we do sightseeing while we have our dinner together. So a lot of really fun experiences. I think part of the reason I'm really excited about these itineraries is that we've tried to include activities you couldn't do on your own. There's a lot of adventure kind of stuff you can do in New Zealand, but we kind of felt like that wasn't maybe the right choice for our groups. But we certainly can arrange bungee jumping or whatever it is you want to do down there if that's something you want to do. So these are very, very exciting. Like I said, not inexpensive, but I think we've done our best to really provide a good level of service for a good price point and provide you with unique experiences that we haven't really seen in other itineraries. So I think we tried to do something a little bit original, but also to give you a taste of all the things you were really hoping for. So the one thing we didn't include in this itinerary is Hobbiton, but that may be up for some discussion to see if we can figure out a way to get people to Hobbiton, because frankly, I want to go to Hobbiton. I know, Lord of the Rings nerd, but there's nothing wrong with being a Lord of the Rings nerd. So anyway, so that's really exciting. I hope you guys are kind of interested in this idea. The total number of days, so it's the Australia tour is 9 and New Zealand is 10. So basically with the travel time, you're putting in a total of 3 weeks. The reason we try to keep it at that length is I know that for those of you that are still working, your vacation time is very precious, and 3 weeks is probably even pushing it. That's why we did it as 2 separate things. You can take as much of it as you can. If this proves to be popular, we can certainly offer it again in the future. At this point, let's just see, because I don't know the response we're going to get. I hope everybody wants to go, and it could become something we offer more in the future and explore more as well. Tasmania would be really fun to add in the future. So there's a lot of stuff we can do in the future with this destination. So I hope this excites you as much as it does me. Very good. All right. Going back, let's see. Aeolian Islands, we talked about Piedmont. You already know that one. Piedmont is our tour that's always led by Lisa Anderson, where she shows off her home region. This one typically always fills up. We're going to run it on September 30th of next year, and I think that's unchanged with the itinerary. Andrew, what's this Hungary October tour? Tell us about that.
Oh, okay. Well, some of you might have met Gabor. He's my Hungarian colleague and friend, and he's done the Budapest-Vienna tour. He did the Harvest tour last year. We even did a Northern Croatia-Hungary tour a couple of years ago. And anyway, him and his American wife run a food and wine company, and they even import Hungarian wines into the U.S. So it's going to be a 10-day tour of Hungary, 4 days in Budapest. On top of the normal things that we do anytime we're in Budapest, like going to the Central Market and do tastings of all the delicious coffee houses there. We take a cruise on the Danube River. We also have a half a day of exploring the Jewish culture in Hungary, because it has the largest Jewish population in Eastern Europe and still intact. And we're going to have like a kosher lunch with the family. But we spent a couple of days in the northeast wine region of Tokai, which is quite famous for their dessert wines, but not just sweet wines, because we know people don't want to just drink sweet wines all the time. They have some really amazing wines. And again, we'll have some dinners with winemakers there. We'll learn how to make barrels. So you've always seen barrels in cellars, so let's go meet a barrel maker. We go to the southern part of Hungary to see a couple really cute towns, and also have some volcanic wines, because you've got volcanic soil in Hungary. And we have the last full day at Lake Balaton, which is a beautiful lake, kind of in the southwest corner. So it's a lot of food and wine experiences, but a lot of solid time in Budapest and visiting some other cute towns as well. Little boat trip on the lake. Gabor is fantastic. He ran my Harvest tour last year, and everyone on that tour said, "Hey, when are you going to do a Hungary only tour?" So this is our Hungary only tour, and it's gonna be fantastic. And him and Carolyn are great hosts and hostesses, and we spend a little bit of time in their cellar, do a cooking class. So it's gonna be a great Hungarian experience.
And I have to say, I don't know Gabor other than having just met him a couple of times, but the people that travel with him cannot say enough good things about him. They absolutely love him. I mean, the Christmas tour this past year, I got so many raves about how much they love him. So if you're looking at these tours and you're thinking, I don't know him, I want to travel with Sarah or Andrew, please trust us. You're going to love Gabor.
Yeah.
I always think like there is no favorite child. You may think I'm the favorite child, but then you meet one of our other guides and you go, oh wait, Gabor's my favorite now. So you can love us all. It's like a box of chocolates, right? We're all kooky and nutty inside and a little different, and it's okay, right?
Exactly, Forrest Gump.
Exactly. We are exactly Forrest. So the Italy Harvest is a new-ish tour. Andrew, you worked on this one, right?
Yeah. This was your idea, but I got to work with Paola in Italy on putting it together, and it looks fantastic, because you've got places like Orvieto, Assisi, Siena that you visit, but every day you're doing something that's going to taste really good in your mouth. I think you've got 2 small cooking classes, and it's not just like, hey, let's make pasta. There's something where we're making like some fried olives with meat in them that sound delicious. I don't think I've ever had that in Italy, but there's some parts of it. A lot of it's Umbria, but some of it's in the Lemarque region, which I know Sarah and you and I talked, like there's a few regions in Italy that we haven't run tours, and Lemarque was one of them, and now like that's on this tour, so that's really cool. We're gonna do like in Assisi, we'll meet with some friars there and taste some of the wine and schnapps that they make themselves. We're gonna be doing a grape harvest at a winery. We're gonna be staying 3 nights at an agriturismo. So it's gonna, I mean, just I've been to some of the places, but almost all the experiences I've never done in Italy, and they really look fantastic and really unique. I mean, I think it's a great combination of here's these amazing places in a, let's say, part of Italy that people haven't seen so much of, and then with just some out of the world kind of experiences. I think you can be a food and wine person and love it. I think you just be like, hey, I always love everything in Italy, and I haven't seen most of these places, and you'll really dig it.
Yeah, this is a really fun takeoff on our Umbria tour that we offered last year that was super, super successful, and we loved it so much. We were working with a company that came up with all these really unique experiences, like we actually harvested grapes. And I had to think about it, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun if we did something that was really just specifically harvest oriented? Because I know our harvest tour is so popular. The harvest tour that we do in Slovenia is our number one, probably most popular tour. We offer 3 departures a year. So we thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could do a similar thing in Italy? So that's kind of the idea here, is going during the harvest season, seeing how cheese is made, cooking, making those stuffed olives that are very famous from Ascoli. So there's just a lot of really beautiful things in here that I think are going to be celebrating the end of the growing season. And I mean, who wouldn't love seeing Italy? So just the list of destinations, you're starting at Orvieto. Then you're going to Ascoli Piceno, which is kind of up in the mountains in the direction of Le Marche. Then you're going to be going to Sagrantino, which is back in Umbria, and visiting Assisi. From there, you're going to be going to Pienza, which is in southern Tuscany. And Pienza is a great location to really enjoy that wine road from Montepulciano to Montalcino. Plus, Pienza is famous for its cheese. So the Orcia Valley is, I think, one of the most beautiful places in the world. So you've got a little bit of a taste of the most beautiful places and things you could do at the harvest time in Italy. So I think this is a really nice itinerary. Thanks, Andrew, for pulling this together. I had a vision, and then I handed it to him, and he came up with something really cool. So Lisa,
I might sign up for it and just go as a normal guest.
Yeah, so Lisa Anderson, she's the one who has headed this one up as our guide. So everybody loves Lisa. Again, if you don't know Lisa, you're going to fall in love with her on the tour. She's a delight to travel with. So this is a really fun new project, and I hope you guys will enjoy celebrating the harvest in Italy with us. And then my big tour of the fall, that this was kind of Andrew and I worked on this together, is Athens and the Greek islands. And I'm really excited about this one. This is a little bit of a takeoff on what I did last year for my birthday. We kind of, along with Nico and my boyfriend Otto, we spent a couple of weeks wandering around Greece, and we came up with what I think is just the perfect introduction to Greece. And if you go to Greece, there's so many different ways you can approach it. So you can do islands, you can do the Peloponnese, you can do all kinds of different approaches. What we really thought was a nice way to do it is to start in Athens, hit a couple islands, and end in Crete, which is our favorite Greek island. And Crete is just such a great destination. You might remember last year for my birthday, for my 50th birthday, we did our Cretan staycation, which was a wild success. Everybody really enjoyed that. So we thought this could kind of combine the best of all worlds. So here's what we're doing. And I'm going to be the guide on this one. We're going to start on September 30th, and we have picked out some, I just want to say, great hotels for this tour. I'm super excited, particularly for Naxos, but we've got some great hotels and great food coming at you on this tour. So day one, we're going to start in Athens. We're going to have a get to know you meeting, and then we're going to go for a walk and enjoy dinner near the Acropolis. Day two, we're going to have kind of the thing we need to do, which is going to be seeing the Acropolis and the Parthenon and the Propylaea. After that, we're going to head to the museum, and we're going to see where the Elgin marbles should be, even though they're not, maybe someday. And then probably after that, we'll all take a stroll down the Plaka, and we'll find lunch together. And then in the evening, I'll probably want to go and sit around and philosophize and have a glass of ouzo. So we'll have a little kind of cocktail hour, and then you'll have free time for dinner on your own. Day three, we're going to catch a ferry. We're just going to head out to the port in Athens and take the ferry to Naxos. We're going to leave on a morning ferry and get there kind of lunchtime, we'll go check into our hotel. We've got a gorgeous hotel. It's a really neat place right on the best beach on the island in Naxos. And you can just roll out of bed and you'll just be right there on the beach. We stayed nearby, not in this hotel. We couldn't get into this hotel last year. So Andrew and I have been working with this hotel because this is kind of the thing that I really, really wanted. So it's a great location. They have a great restaurant at the hotel. And then you'll just have time to kind of unwind and enjoy a little bit of the Greek lifestyle. The next day, we're going to head to the island of Paros and Antiparos, and we're going to have to kind of see how things play out. We either will have, we'll take a ferry over there and we'll have some activities on the island, or if we have really good weather, we'll have our own boat to go for a swimming and snorkeling excursion, and we'll also be able to go and see, spend time on the island as well. So I can't guarantee how that's going to play out because it's really weather dependent, but that's our hope, is that we would have our own private boat to do an excursion to Paros. Next day, you're going to see the island of Naxos. We're going to have a local guide meet us and a van, and we're going to go explore the inner part of Naxos. And there's some really cute little villages. We'll go have lunch. We're going to see this beautiful, beautiful Greek settlement, and I'll probably do a little talk about Greek architecture and history there. And yeah, then we'll get to enjoy just drinking wine in the village square, in a village where there's like 100 people living there, which I just think is so fun when you get that opportunity. But there's so many cute islands on villages on Naxos. We'll have a chance to see that. In the evening, you'll be free to head back out to the beach if you wish. Like I said, the place we're staying is just the absolute perfect beach spot. Next day, day 6, we're going to take the ferry, an afternoon ferry, so you can spend the morning at the beach if you wish. We're going to take the ferry to Heraklion. The ferry does stop at Santorini. We're not going to Santorini, but the ferry does stop there. So if you wanted to see Santorini, you'll see it for sure. You're going to see the caldera as the ferry heads in there. We're not stopping there because Santorini is quite a victim of over-tourism, and I just don't feel good promoting that. So we're trying to stay at places that can actually handle the tourism better and they respond better. Crete, for example, is a great place to go if you don't want to really contribute to over-tourism. So we're not going to stop there, but you will get to see it. Then we're going to get to Heraklion, and we have booked a really fun beach resort there, and you'll get to check in and relax and enjoy the sunset over the sea, and then we'll probably have dinner. Next day, we're going to visit the Palace of Knossos. And if you know the Minoans, they're one of the most ancient civilizations on the planet. They're, some people speculate they may be what do you call it? The underwater...
Atlantis.
Atlantis, thank you. There's some people speculate that the Minoans are actually the people of Atlantis. I mean, that's seems silly, but could be. So we'll get to see something that much predates the Parthenon. So these are things, this is a palace that is much older than the classical Greek period. So really very interesting, very, very ancient. And there's a great archaeological site. And then we'll see the archaeological museum to learn more about the Minoans and whatever happened to them. And then in the evening, we'll be back at the hotel to just have a nice, relaxing evening. Next day is my favorite day maybe on this tour, although I think every day is my favorite. We're going to head to Hanya, which we love Hanya. But along the way, Andrew found the most wonderful cooking class. And I have to say, I think it's my favorite cooking class we've ever done on a tour, don't you think?
Yeah, it is really cool. And the location, you can't beat it. It's just like total, like Greek, middle of nowhere village. You know, I think there's got to be donkeys there because there's usually donkeys in places like that.
Yeah, so there's an olive farm that teaches a cooking class, a Cretan cooking class outdoors. So we'll be in an outdoor kitchen, and you'll hands-on make all these different Greek specialties. And the food, I mean, I don't think I've ever had Greek food that good before. And as we were finishing it up and we were drinking a glass of wine, they had musicians from the village come in, and they showed us how to play all of their traditional instruments, and they played some traditional music for us. And it was just one of the most poetic and beautiful days. So that is just a winner. You're going to love that. Then we head to Hanya, and we'll check into our hotel in the middle of town. And Hanya is so adorable. I mean, I just am looking for a house there now. It's so cute. It's a little Venetian town that it has wonderful restaurants. It's got this huge harbor and lots of waterfront restaurants and shops. So we'll get checked in and probably go have a cocktail on a rooftop maybe when we get there to watch the sunset. And then the next day, we're going to do a walking tour of Hanya, and we'll finish off with a drink and snacks at the yacht club there, a historic yacht club. And then you'll have free time to just really enjoy Hanya, because it's such a neat place to just relax, wander the streets. Everybody loves free time, right? So you're going to have a chance to do what you want. You can go to the beach. There are little boat excursions if you wanted to take a boat out to the harbor. So lots of choices. And then day 10 are, speaking of boat excursions, because this time of year, the weather is really nice and it's warm. It's not overly hot, but it's nice and the water is warm. We're going to take the drive out to the end of Crete, the very far western end of Crete, and get a boat out to Gramvosa Island, where the water is as absolutely clear and beautiful as you see in these pictures. And I think Nico went on a little hike, so you can go on a hike if you would prefer that. And then we went to Balos Lagoon, which was gorgeous, absolutely perfectly white sand. And we swam there. And while we were swimming, the ship crew, they made us a barbecue lunch, which was just absolutely ridiculous. It was so beautiful. Then we went back. Then after that, we're going to go back to Hanya, give you some time to clean up, and then we'll have a dinner. And I already know where I want to take you. My favorite place we ate in Hanya, super elegant place, beautiful wine list, and we'll have a really splashy and elegant finish to our tour with some absolutely fantastic Greek food. So lots and lots of good food and wine in this one. Lots of swimming, lots of sun. I mean, I don't know, Andrew. I don't think I can think of anything better.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this tour will be better than your birthday tour. One, we got the Naxos Island in there, and two, we're doing it late September, early October. And I know some people wanted to go to Greece with us last summer, but in June it can and was very hot. And I think this is a much better time of the year to experience this.
Yeah, I think so too. So there's not I left a little bit of mystery in this itinerary. So I didn't fill in a lot of blanks because I do want to add some special surprises in here that I don't want to spoil. So this is not everything. There are other activities that I am planning on doing, but this at least is kind of the highlight of it. So one other nice thing to note is that Hanya Airport is super easy to get to London or to Athens. So I just flew on EasyJet from Hanya back to London, and it cost me, I think, 30 euros a person. So it's kind of the clown car, but it's fine. It takes you back to London. So easy connections. And that airport is just a few minutes away from downtown. So this is really a luxuriously easy way to get a sense of mainland Greece, Greek islands, and Crete, which I think it's the beginning, right, Andrew? I think we'll probably offer more Greece in the future.
I hope so, because there's so much there.
Cool. So that is my project. That's going to be September of 2026. Turkey in a teacup. So tell me a little bit about what's going on with Thailand. And I don't see the sailing staycation, so we're not doing that next year.
We're not doing that next year. I guess we'll see if we get enough requests for that. But Turkey in a teacup's going. That'll next year will be the third year we do it. It's basically kind of best of Turkey in 9 days, 8 days, 9 days. You get Istanbul, and you get this all with Thailand, and he's fantastic. So you get Istanbul with him, and you get all the main sites there, but you also get kind of the private Bosphorus cruise. And you're going to see some little places that I think a lot of the big tour groups miss out on. You get Cappadocia, you have Ephesus, and a little bit of Bodrum. It is a really great entry level into Turkey, because you get kind of Mediterranean Turkey, Istanbul, and all the history there, and beautiful Cappadocia, which is as magical as it looks in all the photos. So I think it's a great way to get introduced to Turkey. There's so much more to Turkey. We definitely would like to have some more Turkey tours again in the near future. And I'll say this, Thailand and I, because a lot of people asked, we are going to do some extra scouting. We'd like to do the Southeast Turkey tour we did 3 years ago. Some of the places got hit by that really bad earthquake, and we're seeing how they're getting along. But that's something we'd like to do again, because that was something where when you go to those places, you really feel like you're the only people that's not from the Middle East or Turkey there. And it's a really cool experience, and there's some fantastic spots that you've never heard of, but you're like, oh yeah, I needed to go there, I just didn't know it. So but this is really a perfect way to kind of enter into Turkey, I'd say.
Yeah, and
The Turkey and
Thailand,
the
we
Chico.
absolutely love Thailand. He's definitely a member of the family, and he's just such a great guy. So the sailing staycation for this year still does have a cabin or two left. So if you are interested in doing that, we do still have room. And if we get enough people requesting, I think we need a minimum of 5 or 6 people to be able to put that together, which, by the way, just remember, we can literally do anything in the world for you if you have 5 or 6 people. So we're putting together custom tours all the time that we don't talk about. Like I just put together a custom tour for a family of 5 for Egypt. Andrew, as he mentioned, is doing a Jewish heritage tour. We get all kinds of crazy requests all the time. And honestly, we can do just about anything, but our minimum tends to be about 5 or 6 people, right? So we could probably, even if you had 6 people, do the sailing staycation for a family of 6.
We could. And then you get that whole boat to yourself, and
Yeah.
then you could talk with Thailand, like, hey, can we check out this little place over here? Because maybe you can be the co-captain. You could be the co-captain of the ship.
And I loved that. I went last year and absolutely loved it. It was really fun. It's very rustic. Like the boat itself is not the Ritz. It's very plain, but everybody's got their own bathroom. Everybody's got their own space. And the water was incredible. The weather was perfection every single day. And we just couldn't believe we were the only people out there. It was really pretty magical. And then
I have no idea. I have no idea how that chef in that tiny kitchen whips up breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and 4 o'clock tea time snacks. It's just like, I don't know. It's like he's got like Pandora's box in the kitchen to help him out or something. But that's incredible.
Well, and everybody, and I agree with this, has said that like the food on that trip, because everything's included since you're on the boat, the price includes all your food. Everybody has said to me that like they would go on it again just for the food. And I agree. I think it's because he rings the bell every time dinner's ready. And I felt like a Pavlov dog. Like I'd heard that. And
oh, definitely.
I wasn't even hungry, and I'm still salivating because the food was amazing.
Time to get out of the water and get some food in me when that bell rings.
That is a wonderful, wonderful trip. So last thing that we want to talk about for now, because there are going to be a couple of other things I want to mention about 2026 that are not here yet, but Peru. Now, we haven't done this in a while. In fact, Adventures with Sarah hasn't done it. I did this as a collaboration tour with my friend Reed a few years ago, and I loved it. It's an amazing destination, and it's a destination everybody should do. But I didn't feel like our itinerary was good. So we all put our heads together, and we decided to kind of troubleshoot a Peru itinerary. Dawn has been, I have been, and we came up with an itinerary we think hits things in the right order and does them a little bit better. So if you've never been to Peru, this is just one of the most beautiful destinations. I mean, you may go South America. I don't want to go to South America. Believe me, this is something different. Lima, first of all, Peru has some of the best food in the world. It's considered to be the foodie destination of South America. And Lima looks like Los Angeles. It's really right on a cliff, and it's kind of dramatic with a beachfront. But I would say Machu Picchu is probably one of the most stunning things I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of things. It's really hard to knock the wind out of me anymore because I've seen everything. But when I got my first glimpse of Machu Picchu, I just couldn't even believe what I was seeing. It is that impressive. And if you have not seen it, you really, really should. So it's weirdly easy to get there. I think it's 5 hours from LAX, 5 or 6 hours. It's not a very long flight. You're still in the Pacific time zone. So you feel like you're doing this big exotic travel, but you're actually not that far from home. And it's really a pretty easy destination. So I'll just go through a little bit of what we came up with for this. It's in July because we have had a lot of requests by teachers in particular to offer things that are a little bit more accessible in the summertime. Also for families, if families wanted to go and do this tour. Our age limit for tours typically is about 12, but we can always discuss if you have somebody younger, if that's appropriate. But this is it's just so cool. I mean, it really is a neat destination. So let's talk a little bit about this Peru itinerary, July 6th through 15th of 2026. So we start in Lima, which I think is, look at how pretty that is. It's just this beautiful cliffside city. It's really accessible. The food is really good. We've got a nice hotel there. So it's a really neat place. It's much more modern than you probably expect. Plus it has the Spanish colonial aspect to it. So we'll do our introduction meeting. Next day, we're going to do a walking tour of Lima and get to know the main square a little bit. And we'll probably do a little bit of foodie stuff as well, a little bit of snacking along the way because there's so many nice things to eat there. And we'll check out one of the colonial neighborhoods. And there's also some ancient stuff we can see there as well, archaeological stuff. We went to an archaeological park when I was there last time. So we'll just kind of check out Lima, do a city tour, and really get to know the soul of that city. Day 3, we're going to fly. You have to fly to Cusco, and that is the top of the Andes. And Cusco, honestly, is just a really incredible city. I mean, just when you fly in, it's so dramatic. It is at that high altitude. So this is a little bit the reason that pacing of this tour and how you do it makes a lot of difference. You have to know this destination to put this itinerary together, because what we need to do is acclimate people slowly to that high altitude. So you get to Cusco, you have a nice relaxing day, and you have a chance to acclimate to that high altitude. The next day, we're going to do just mostly Cusco. We're going to get to know Cusco better, do a walking tour of the center of the city, again, giving you an opportunity to acclimate, but also seeing the city. The market is really fun there. You can do a lot of fun shopping there. Lots and lots of amazing food. So you'll do a food tour there in Cusco to get, and a cooking class to get to know the food of Peru. The next day, you go to the Sacred Valley. The Sacred Valley, you could spend weeks at. There's so many interesting archaeological sites, but also just from a cultural point of view. I loved going down the road and seeing all these little moonshine stands that people were selling things. The markets are so colorful, the textiles. So we're going to go to the Sacred Valley, and you're going to go to the archaeological area of Pisac, which you might have seen a video that I did of that the last time I was there. And then we're going to have lunch in town, and then we're going to take our train ride from to Aguascalientes, which is the base camp for visiting Machu Picchu. So that train ride is so pretty. We usually get a scenic car, so you can kind of see the valley as you go through over to the base camp for Machu Picchu. The next day, you can jump for joy like I'm doing right there, because you'll be up in Machu Picchu. We'll get up there and you'll get a tour of Machu Picchu. And it is a bit of climbing. And by that point, you will have probably acclimated somewhat to that high altitude. This is doable for any fitness level. They even have a handicap path there. So it is actually accessible for all people. So don't be put off by Peru because you think, oh, I'm not that fit, I don't think I can do that. You can. I've had people of all levels do this. So this is going to be the day, is exploring Machu Picchu, which is just really an incredible destination and one of the great treasures in this world to see. I mean, for me, I put it on the same level as Angkor Wat. I mean, it's just something you can't believe that you're seeing. Next day is going to be visiting more of the archaeological sites of the Sacred Valley. Like I said, you could stay in the Sacred Valley for months and you never see everything. We'll also go and visit a traditional community, and we're going to get to listen to music. They're going to show us how they do their weaving and all of these kinds of things, and we'll have lunch there. You can see meeting with the locals is actually a lot of fun, and their food is fantastic. Next day, we're going to fly from Cusco to Puerto Maldonado. Now, this is kind of important because we put the rainforest at the end. We did this the other way the last time, and I did not like it because the rainforest it's kind of tiring. It's rainforest, obviously, so it's going to be wet, and you get pretty damp, but it is really something that you won't find anywhere else. It is so beautiful, and we stay in an open air kind of rainforest lodge. So that's what's really fun. You go and they have naturalists there who can talk to you about all of the wildlife. I remember sitting in my bed surrounded by my mosquito netting and just looking out and watching monkeys come and just sit on the rail of my bedroom. So you're really in the Amazon, and you'll probably see parrots because there are parts of the Amazon that have like salty cliffs. So you'll see these parrots. We saw huge orangutans hopping through the top of trees. It is really something very, very special. So if you always wanted to see the rainforest, this is going to be your opportunity. And then we do a twilight boat ride. So you get to see the nighttime animals, because you don't see all the same animals at nighttime versus the daytime. So this is very, very special. Going to the rainforest is really something that I think everybody should do. In the morning, the next day, we'll do a rainforest trail to go out to see Lake Sandoval. Now, I don't know if we're going to do it, but we actually went fishing for piranhas, which was terrifying, but that is something you can do if you want to. But the lake is really, really beautiful. So just the scenery is really extraordinary, and you won't believe the kind of animals you're going to see while you're out there. And I mean, just like boa constrictors, just, hey, there's one right there. You know, it's you feel like you're in a zoo. It's crazy. So yeah, so that'll be a day of exploring the lake and exploring more of the forest floor, and having the naturalist explain a lot of the wildlife that you see. Next day, you check out and you head back to the airport, and then from Puerto Maldonado, you can head back to Lima and head home. And I love ending there because you will be damp when you leave Puerto Maldonado, because no matter how you have your clothes, your entire backpack is going to be damp because it's the rainforest. So it's kind of fun to end on the most tiring thing, and then you're going to go home tired and happy and ready to go home and rest up and enjoy the memories of your trip. Our guide for this is going to be my friend Susanna Perucchini. She is from Rome. A lot of you have traveled with her and you love her. She also speaks fluent Spanish, and this was a project she put on the map because she's really has been wanting to go. But she's a wonderful guide, and her knowledge of Spanish and Spanish culture is going to be a really helpful thing. So I think that's it. So the last thing we wanted to talk about, Andrew, do you want to tell us a little bit about the things that are not here, particularly Christmas tours for 26?
Oh yeah. So for next year, we're those will be launched a little bit later on this year. The Budapest Vienna tour that we've done last year and we're doing this year, we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to do I'm in Prague right now, so we're going to be doing a Prague Budapest tour. But don't worry, because if you want to see Vienna at Christmas time, we're going to do Vienna and Salzburg. And I'm working on some interesting ideas, like a literary tour, because you've had so many literary giants in Vienna, and also a private music concert there with local musicians. So those are going to be kind of split into two tours. Prague, Budapest, and Vienna, Salzburg. So that'll be two of, I think, 4, maybe more Christmas tours for 2026.
Yeah, so 26 will definitely have Paris and Strasbourg back on the map, but we have some other ideas. There may be an Italy-based Christmas tour as well. So we're going to have to just see how things roll out, but that's kind of the idea for now. Just to let you know, we do still have room on our Christmas tours for this December. We have Andrew doing Budapest, Vienna. We have our friend Nina doing a Copenhagen Christmas, and she's from Copenhagen, so that's a really special one. I'm going to be doing London at Christmas, and I'm going to be working with my friend Adam, who is a musician and a tour guide, and he's going to take us on a caroling tour where we actually sing. So there's a lot of special things, and high tea, a really special Christmas high tea. And then Luca, my son, and I are going to, again, pair up to do the Christmas in Paris and Strasbourg, which is just an absolutely magical tour. And this year with the addition of Strasbourg, which it didn't have before. So I think that's all for now. We may have some other late edition things. One thing I did want to mention is the Cinque Terre tour apparently went marvelously. And my friend Ruth is musing about adding something else there that you can do with her in the fall. So there may be a few extra things, but those you'll see in September. So this is all we're going to have on the schedule for now. Anything additional, we may add something in September. But again, like I said, if there was something you were hoping for that you did not see here, remember, you can put together your own group. You can go to our Facebook group, the Adventures of Sarah Facebook group, and you can ask other people if they want to do something. If you see something that's not on here, like you want me to do a Rome tour in the fall or something like that, you can get a group together. It's a minimum of 6 people, and we can put anything on the map for you. Anything else, Andrew?
Well, I think we have something for everyone. I'd like to think we probably have at least 3 things for everyone there, because there's probably 5 or 6 tours that I would want to do. So but like as Sarah said, I mean, if like I know a couple of people asked about the sailing in Turkey. It's like, okay, it's not on there, but it could be on there. You got to work your magic with your friends. And let's just say this, it's great when you get your own group of friends, because then you guys kind of get to make your own decisions and things like that, and we could tailor things. So like that's always an option. And I know for Sarah and I, we love doing it. It's fun to create new tours, especially just for people. So
Yeah.
don't be shy. Ask us what you want us to do for you.
Yeah, and if you even have 4 people, 2 couples, and they want to be the seed group for something that we don't have on the calendar, we're happy to do that as well. But on the flip side, please don't assume the stuff you see on this is going to be available in 2027, because as you know, we are a little chaotic, and we do a lot of different things, and we change things up every year. So you're never going to get the same schedule every year. So our recommendation is, if you see something you like, schedule it. Don't assume it's going to be there in the future, particularly Australia, New Zealand. I'm not sure that's going to be there in the future. It might be. I don't know. We'll see how successful it is. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for our tour release party. I'm so excited. I hope that you all find something that you're really interested in doing with us. Please take advantage if you are a Patreon member of our discount. If you're not and you want to be in the future, please, you can subscribe at Patreon, or you can also subscribe to my Substack. That's another way to get access to all of our special discounts and these early tour releases. So you guys are what keep this company going. Thank you so much for supporting this woman-led and owned and feisty little renegade tour company. We're always doing things, hopefully, that are what you ask for. Remember, I take those little surveys and I listen to you. So thank you for supporting our little small business as we grow. We love you guys so much. Mwah. And I hope to see you on the road. I can't wait to see you on the next tour that you go on with us. So, well, happy travels, happy adventures. Andrew, anything else?
No, just see everyone soon. I'll see some of you in September and October and November and December, and hopefully next year too.
Sounds good. Okay. Ciao, everybody.
Ciao.